Hello everyone, I'm Naira. I'm a 20-year-old college art student and I'm starting a small business. Now, with my videos that I'll be making here on YouTube, it's definitely going to be a lot more silly and lighthearted and fun in terms of the editing style and what I plan for my content to be. But I just wasn't feeling that to start off for my first video because before I get into any sides of my content, I wanted to talk about my actual journey because it's very special to me and I think it will hopefully reach someone out there who maybe needs to hear about it, maybe needs to become inspired a little bit. So hopefully this will reach someone out there. So this video will just be a short intro to me, where my art comes from, and why I'm sacrificing my sweet innocent life
the depths of the art and business industry.
while I set up my desk in my new college dorm because content. Okay. Anyway, when I was young, I only ever wanted to be an artist, but I never had a mindset of what being an artist really meant to me. But I never really cared about that. Honestly, I didn't. What do you expect? What did you expect out of a 5-year-old? 5-year-olds don't care about nothing. So I spent my childhood experimenting. And honestly, experimenting is an understatement. Let's think. I started coloring in coloring books as pretty much my daily hobby with my mom as young as the age of 4. I visited many daycares as a kid and I was almost always drawing something. I experimented a lot in middle school with colored pencils, markers, pens, etc. I would custom paint some of my toys that I had as a kid. You know, they weren't great, but they existed. And then in high school, I did a lot of fashion illustration with specifically watercolor. And throughout my childhood, I also had quite the inspirations like Disney fairy tales, Calico Critters, My Little Pony, Littlest Pet Shop, Maho Shoujo anime, Sanrio, and way too many more to count. So yeah, a lot of inspirations leading me to have this artistic talent that I've built, and yet still, after all this time, I still had no idea what kind of art I wanted to do going into college. After my first year, I decided to stick with illustration, which as a junior, I do think that was the right call. It still allows me to experiment while still kind of having a label on what I do for now. If I want to change it eventually when I get out into the world, I can do that. And then also having room area allowing me to experiment with other forms of art that I like while easily integrating illustration. Or just, my creativity in general. But it still felt like I should have been doing something along with getting my degree in college. And that's when I realized something. So, another thing to know about me is as I grew up, I also was a big fan of watching artists as I grew up, specifically on YouTube. And I specifically fell into the two niches. One, tutorial and or DIY artists, and two, art business owners. And I remember thinking to myself growing up since middle school, I wonder if I could ever do that. But I didn't have any knowledge on how to be an art business owner or anything, and so I always brushed it off, thinking maybe I'll do it someday. But as high school went by, going into college, that voice only became louder. Up until the end of 2023. College was off to a rough start and I had multiple family members passing away. So yeah, I was depressed with pretty much every area of my life, and that's when I decided I need to start something. I remember thinking to myself, out of fear, I can't be into this kind of stuff. I can't be still tied to the things that are considered childish, because those were things that, let's just say, I was seriously bullied for back in the day when, ironically, those were for my age group. But anyway, I was bullied for it, and I remember being like, well, I shouldn't be into this stuff. So I remember pretty much in high schools when I stopped watching the kind of stuff that I was into and everything. And so I told myself, you know what? This isn't worth it. None of this is worth it. I don't need to be a part of that. I can just live in my world, do my own thing, and the people who want to follow me can follow me along. And then, of course, you also see the development of my business. So anyway, finally in 2024, I started going back to my real roots. I started watching and collecting anime again. I started collecting calico critters again, which I hadn't done in like, what, a decade? I don't even know at this point. Yeah, I started embracing the things that I liked again. And ironically, once I started doing this, unlike before in elementary school, I made a bunch of new friends, and those new friends definitely align with who I am as a person, and I am much happier now. And so, in the beginning of 2025, I was like, okay, there's so much more situated in my life now. Let's do this. I was finally ready to get started. I took pretty much all of 2024 to make new friends, develop my art style and everything, and just get back to being myself. And so 2025, that is me taking the big leap. This is me being delusional and saying, yeah, I can post a YouTube video within like 24 hours before my business launches. Yeah, that's smart of me. Yeah, I will be just fine. I honestly don't know if I'll be fine, but you know what? I've come to the realization that if I don't start now, I'm never gonna start. I'm in college, it's my junior year. I really have nothing to lose if I start now. But yeah, this is just me taking my leap. And so now we've gotten to 2025, the spring to summertime, where I'm finally starting to get my stuff together. I'm starting to make products, and in some ways, in my biggest element I've ever been in my life ever, I started posting on social media, which is something I've never done before. I started going to events and meeting a bunch of new people and getting my business and stuff together legally. It has honestly been a great journey already, even though it's only been like 3 months, something like that. So, finally, let's talk a little bit about the kind of products that I plan to sell in my shop, and also what I have planned for my content. The whole point of the products that will be launched in my shop will be basically combining my loves for fantasy characters and storytelling. I want to develop my little fantastical universe more with you guys. I want to create characters and storylines and skits that people can laugh about and enjoy. And I think being able to portray that love in multiple art forms is what I'm meant to be doing with this. Anything from my mushroom characters to witches to fairies to mermaids, clowns, dragons. I could go on. I'm into all of them. And if you guys have any ideas on a new character that you would like to see needle felted or drawn or anything, let me know in the comments because I'll take any suggestions. These mushroom characters that you guys saw earlier are called the Seven Miracles, and their storyline starts off as one night in a distant fantastical land, they were born out of 7 shooting stars that also landed on at the end of a lunar rainbow, causing their meanings of existence to be quite significant to each other and the creatures around them. Think of them kind of as like spirit guides, in a sense. They all have their own special words that make up the acronym Miracle, and they all have their own different personalities that relates back to their word. They don't have much of a memory as to what happened or how they ended up there, as they all claim to have been asleep before waking up to this fantastical land, but they do all remember a little bit about meeting each other once they woke up. And as of right now, that's really all we know about them. So if you guys are curious to get to know these guys a little more, don't worry, they will be in a lot of my future videos. I actually have a whole series planned with these guys, so I'm really excited to show you them more. We'll just have to see along the way. I want this art business channel to be a place where you could go to get an equal mix of creativity, advice, collaboration, and overall tomfoolery. To wrap things up, my business officially launches on Saturday the 27th at 12 p.m. EST, so if you're interested in that, be sure to check out my site and my socials to be caught up with everything that's going on, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!